What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Brad from the Rules of Villainy podcast, or you may know me as the Mayor of Lorcana. It's a beautiful Saturday morning, which means it's time for another local meta report. This is a video series in which I walk you through the latest and greatest of competitive decks here in St. Louis over the course of the week of constructed play of Disney Lorcana. And what we really want to do here is just showcase the players and the local gaming stores here in the community that allow us to play the game. That being said, we have 7 different decks today from 6 different events at 5 stores. So let's not waste any time and get into it, shall we? All right, everybody. Now that we've shrunken down to Wonderland sides, let's take a look at the leagues. First up, we have Grapes Games on Sunday afternoons at 2 o'clock. We are in week 2 of Arcasia's Island, and the mayor couldn't get it done in the final game of Swiss, where he faced Reckless Asian. That is Ron, our teammate and friend, who is this week running Blue Steel. Blue Steel, the Oswald version. He calls it Sap Steel Oz, because there are 3 different variants of the Blue Steel, Sapphire Steel, as I should say, that is sweeping the Lorcana community and eating up all the prizing, and for good reason. It is such an incredible deck. We touched on it a couple times last week. It is an item-heavy deck with the additions of the new Bell, which you can play for free, the new Scrooge that you can play for free, and of course, Happy Tammy here, which he's running 4 of. I think some people might be varying in the numbers of them. I'm not sure. I don't run it. I know we're going to look at a deck here later that's running 2 of them, but it's a different kind of deck, and we'll get into that when we get there. But yeah, Ron, great player overall. We know this deck by now. It is very, very good. You're getting items out. Your Tamatoa is bringing them back. Both Tamatoas are bringing them back. Oswald on 2 whenever you ink for turn, which you have so many different ways of inking between your T-Pose, between your Fishbone Quill. Doesn't look like he's running any sales here. No room for that. And he does have a 1 of Great Stone Dragon for any character Glimmer that he gets into the discard. He can use this Great Stone Dragon to ink again and trigger this Oswald. And what Oswald does is whenever you ink for turn, you can reveal the top card of your deck, and if it's an item, you can play it for free. Exerted. And what happens is you got your Popsicles, your Fortis Spheres that just give you a free draw from that. You got your Fishbone Quill that's just going to allow you to ink more on the next turn. Plate Armor is just a 1-drop item that you can play at any time. It gives resist. We saw last week actually Link use the last cannon if you want to be a challenge heavy deck. Looks like Ron opted to do the Shield of Arendelle here instead. And then you got your draw engines from Maurice's Workshop, and then 3 Lucky Dimes. So I've been fortunate enough in an item heavy deck before, just messing around in the Lestat Championship. I did a Sapphire Amber deck, which was basically an aerial OTK, and I got a dime on turn 3 by inking with Oswald on board. Absolutely insane combo. That is the Christmas dreamland that you want to have in this deck, or at least one of them. But ultimately, you get Bell out on 1. You got board control. We know the whole shebang here with this deck by now. The Oswald variant is 1 of 3 that we're going to see here in this video. And yeah, congratulations to Ron. 3-0, not the first, certainly won't be the last. And let's move on to the next one. All right, everybody, our second deck of the day is from Kasey over at Impact Gaming Center in Fairview Heights, Illinois, just across the river. She was running a Steel Song version of Amber Steel for her 3-0 on League Night this past Monday night. If we look at the deck, there's a few additions from Set 7. This troubling turtle, the Troubadour, 2-cost inkable, 1/3 with Resist 1, Singer 4, sharing a slot with what is typically Vanessa for the Singer slot at the 2-cost in Steel Song. I like that they still included the Vanessa in case they can get her out. I should say Ursula. I call her Vanessa just because it's Vanessa on the art, and it is the subtitle. But she still has the body to support a full draw from Rapunzel. So I like that she is still included. Also from Set 7, we have the Bianca. I knew there was something else, which is a 6-cost inkable. But if you have an ally character in play, you can pay 2 less to play this character. She's a 6-cost 5/5, but could be a 4-cost 5/5, and is great for having a body or some strength to challenge into something. The allies that could be on the board for her to come out cheaper are plenty. You got Daisy, you got Nala, you got the Troubadour, you got Smee, you got Lawrence. So quite a few options there to get that Bianca out a little bit cheaper if you don't have the Rapunzel or the healing targets for the Rapunzel on 4. Then Bianca comes out, has a huge body, and allows you to get that, challenge into something, get that damage so that you can get that draw off Rapunzel and just help be a board clear when you need to. It wouldn't be a Steel Song deck without the songs. I absolutely love Bare Necessities being included. I think one of the most powerful things in the game is being able to know what your opponent has. So when Cindy or however you play this card, whether it's sung, whether it's played, knowing what they have, and then seeing their play lines allows you to have such a big advantage, in my opinion, to know what to expect and how to play around that. That's the same way in Emerald with Diablo, the whole debate on ban the bird that was going around for a long time because of how good Shift Diablo was. I was, on the side of the one-drop bird that allows you to see everything, because not only is that Shift so powerful, but knowing everything that you have before playing it is just chef's kiss. Imagine the Pacha gif of just right, so knowing what you have, what the opponent has, very, very powerful. And then you got your standard songs of Storm Rage On, Strength of a Raging Fire, and Along Came Zeus. World's Greatest Criminal Mind, I like, especially with the Queen package, which she's not running here, where you can buff up the opposing characters and then just run World's Greatest Criminal Mind. Find 'em and Flatten 'em is a good song for the item-heavy meta. It sucks that both Tamatoas can bring those items back, but if you get into a situation like we just looked at Ron's deck, where Oswald's just triggering all these items super, super early, and especially the Maurice's Workshop, which you want to get off of the board as quick as possible because the draw engine that it provides so cheaply, I think Find 'em is a pretty good song to clear that up a little bit. It's only a temporary solution. I know a lot of people are divisive on whether or not it's effective or not. I think it's a good, especially in a deck like this where you can sing it for free. And then of course you got your wheel. And what I think is really inspired, and people might be kind of sleeping on, not Kasey of course, is Neverland. What's really cool about Neverland, it's a 1-cost 1/4 for a location with 1 lore. But the reason why it's being played is because it has a 4-body. I guess you call a body on location. It has 4 willpower. So it takes multiple, especially in the early game, it takes multiple people not questing and challenging into it to take it out. So it's annoying for the opponent to deal with. It's only 1 lore at a time, so they might ignore it. But if they ignore it too long, it's going to become a problem when they could have dealt with it a lot sooner. So I like that. I'm seeing it pop up in a lot of different Steel Song decks just for kind of a distraction and a little bit of lore gain. And I have no problems with it whatsoever. But, it looks pretty standard, looks pretty fun. Congratulations to Kasey. Let's move on to the next one. All right, moving on to the third deck of the day. We're at the Collector Store on Tuesday night. I consider the Collector Store in St. Peter's one of the most competitive Disney Lorcana places to play. I can't get out there as often just because of how far away it is. But everybody there, very, very good, very fun to play against. And what is most exciting to me this week, just like it was last week at Manticore, there's a kid at the top. Tesla Cat, Lili, topped the competitive field of 10 with a Diggy Hole deck. The Lili version of Diggy Hole. She is now running the set 7 Diggy with a new penny. I believe is the only new card from the set in there. It looks like that is accurate. But really excited for her to top people like Justin, who we're going to look at here in just a second, which was from Las Vegas last year, a Continentals qualifier. So very, very good player. She faced him in the finals and got around the deck that we're about to see with the deck that we're looking at now. So Diggy, for those of you who aren't familiar, it's very low to the ground. You see between 1s and 2s, I think there's 29 different characters here. Let's add them up real quick. 11, 15, 16, 18, 21, 25, 29 between on the 1s and 2s. You're just flooding the board as much as you can. Quest 2, Quest 5 if you got 3 people out there with Piglet, and then Smee, of course, the standard 2 if you don't get the Lilo. You don't even need the Lilo. You can recur her later on from the discard. The set 7 edition is Penny, which comes out and can give the Smee resist to just make him last even longer. It even heals him up when she enters the board. She's only got a 1 of here, which I think is fine. I don't think you need more than 1 because you're just curving out, continuing to get to 4 or 5, to bodyguard with Pluto, to draw with Rapunzel, to reduce all the strength with Kita. Very, very good. I don't know that I've seen Kita in this before, but I didn't play a lot of Diggy or pay a lot of attention to it because everybody was playing it. And I don't play what everybody else does, but this isn't about me. We're always going to be excited to see Gantu. We see another Cinderella, who I just absolutely love. And then the Dwarf Mine. I've seen people been experimenting with taking this out. Appears that Lili doesn't need to because she 3-0'd at the collector store. You got your 8 songs here for Cinderella to sing. I don't know that you ever hardcast that unless you absolutely need to. But yeah, very, very good. And she piloted it well against some very good people. So congratulations to Lili. Moving on very quickly to second place at the collector store Tuesday night is a Ruby Sapphire deck from Justin Ward, a North American Continental qualifier from last year. Set 7 cards that he's included in this version of the deck are 2 Tamatoas, which is not just art flavor for Dreamborn. He actually has that beautiful, beautiful Beatrice Blue Tamatoa card. All the enchanteds. It's max rarity. And foiled out. One of the most beautiful decks in St. Louis. And the other set 7 card is Sapphire Coil, which had the whole Lorcana community in turmoil when it was revealed. It activates so much in regards to removal. I've been finding playing Brawl personally without Sapphire that it is a very hard card to use in this meta right now where steel is very prevalent and everything has 3 strength. So a lot of times I have Brawl in my hand and it's dead. But not here, because every time you ink with Sapphire Coil, you can reduce the strength of any character you want, probably somebody on the opposing side, so that you can Brawl them, or Medusa them, or Sisu them, or Sisu them. It just activates so much in regards to removal and keeps your people alive if you wanted Maui to rush into something. How about you rush into something that has been reduced maybe twice because of How Far I'll Go, or Great Stone Dragon, or Sail, or Tipo? This activates every time something gets inked and is a pain being up against. So no surprise here that he's running 4 of those with such heavy removal on the Ruby side. I think this was made for the Ruby pair. What's interesting to me is that he's not running Bell. We see that in Blue Steel, which was from the get-go, I think, going to be a Blue Steel card. But what's I think Ravensburger thought about or wanted people to experiment with is that the shift for that Bell is a Ruby Sapphire dual ink. So you could only play that in that color combination. So he's not finding use for Bell. And honestly, I don't see why you would need to. Your turn 1's always going to be Popsicle anyway. And then you're going to start ramping on 2. I don't know. It depends on the matchups, I guess. And maybe he'll slot Bell back in. But on this given night, Bell is not there. And, successful anyway, 2-1 on the night. And it's just, it looks good. Ruby Sapphire has always been good. Sapphire in general is at the best it's ever been. And I expect nothing less from Justin. He's the Ruby Sapphire master. And this probably will not be the last time we're talking about him. So anyway, congrats to Justin. We'll be talking about you again. So let's move on to the next one. All right, moving on quickly to Manticore Game Shop in St. Peter's. We have Steve C. at the very top. Captain Inkswell, as we call him on the Rules of Villainy Discord. 3-0, but not to be deceived. He said he did have a bye in the first round, which is totally fine. That happens when we have odd numbers of players, right? So you benefited from the bye, but he did it with a deck that is near and dear to my heart, which we talked about a little bit last week, and hopefully again soon when I can get back on it for good, because I love Blurple. Blurple's so much fun to play. And he did it with a few changes. He told me he took away 1 queen. He added another Bell shift line, which I think is good. I think if we're running Bell and Blurple, which is risky enough because you got to find that 1 of 4 popsicles on turn 1 to get real effective with it. Fortunately, the altar is nice to us by essentially looking at 14 cards. Probably less if we already have Bell in hand. That's a whole conversation that we had on the podcast just recently. So won't get into it here, but I think he added one more Elsa as well, and he reduced the library. Is what he told me. But his second round he was 2-0 on the draw against Emerald Steel, and third round 2-1 on the draw also against Amethyst Steel. So he found success with Blurple doing that. I would really like to get this queen to work. I have her in my deck, but the few games I played with Blurple, I just haven't been able to get her out there. I do need to spend more time actually playing the game with that. I've been playing around with some other stuff, but pretty standard stuff here. I'm curious how the Bell line feels, what kind of matchups that he's seeing other than ones we just talked about. I'm sure with the Emerald Steel, the Bell wasn't very effective if they're shifting the Diablo, but it might be a different kind of Emerald Steel. I'm not sure. Could be Pirates. Emerald Steel Pirates right now is really, really fun, in which Bell could challenge into those early game Pirates pretty easily. So, yeah, congrats to Steven. I'm excited to see how this deck evolves. All right, moving on to the second to last deck and the second league on Thursday nights. We have Villain Andy, co-host and producer of the Rules of Villainy podcast, in a pool of 7 players at the very top of the list. Congratulations to Andy. We're moving on to Friday. Just kidding. We have a Sapphire Steel deck, but not the Sapphire Steel that you are seeing all over the place with the items. We're seeing more of a Harlan Sweet curve deck here. This is the second of the 3 versions that we're going to see, so spoiler alert for the last deck, it is the third version of Sapphire Steel. But this one in particular only has 8 items in it, not running any Tamatoas, which is bold because that Tamatoa is so good at bringing items back, but that's not what he's trying to do with this deck. He is using those items as Hiram food, he's using those items for draw, and he's using his ink to play characters like we saw with Lili's deck. He's got his curve with his 1s, his 2s, his 3s. He's just getting characters out there that quest for 2. He's got Ward. He's got his Calhoun, which is very, very good. Benja, only a 1 of, but I think that is a good 1 of for an opportune time to snipe like a Maurice's Workshop or some item that's going to turn the game around for whatever deck has an item out there that is effective for the opponent. So, losing my words here. I've been talking for an hour. But yeah, you got your Mickeys, you got your Bell on 1 if you find your items. Your 2s. Anna is making a comeback. I like to see that. That's a really good card. If you have another hero in play, she will quest for an additional card. So just another 2 cost, 2 lore with a 4 body even. So a little bit more difficult to get rid of. You got your draws from your docks. You got your standard Smee. Alice is a favorite card of mine. I loved when I was running her in Blurple last set. For a little bit at least. She kind of fell off of the Blurple train and found her way into this deck and being very, very successful. So, but yeah, just as Andy would call it, just a good curve of cards here. 1, 2s, 3s. You got your 4. You want your Hiram to draw in there. You got your Pluto to protect your cards. Baymax is such a beautiful card. This isn't just here for flavor. He has the alternate art from the Continentals. Beautiful, beautiful card. And Cogsworth is making a comeback too for the Resist. So, very, very good. Not surprised to see him going 3-0 on the night. His matchups were round 1 against an Experimental Puppies deck, which I played against as well. Sapphire, of course, it was Sapphire Amber because that is the dual ink of the puppy cards that came out this set. Or I shouldn't say puppy cards. All the dual inks are Perditas and Pongos, who aren't classified as puppies, of course. Round 2 against Emerald Amber aggro. The Cherna Dogs, I think, is what they're calling it nowadays, what the cool kids are calling his second round matchup. And his third round was against the DKP red-blue Sapphire Steel, or Sapphire Ruby. So it got progressively harder and harder for him to play. I imagine I wasn't watching over his shoulder. I was too busy playing my deck that night. And if we go take a look at that again really quickly, ended up in 4th place, 2-1 with a green-red action deck that I found, and it was quite a bit of fun until the next night where I just got absolutely mollywopped at the collector store, which we're about to talk about in a minute. But not to take away the success of Andy. Really good deck. If I could get back on Sapphire Steel, I think this would be the version I would run. I'm not really interested in running the item spam version. But yeah, very, very good. And Andy's a good pilot, so congratulations to him. And we'll probably be seeing him again in the future. So let's move on to the 7th and final deck of the day. And that's going to be Dylan's Sapphire Steel at the collector store last night, in which he is running an Oswald-less version of it and replacing it with the Queen Diviner. And what she does is when you exert her for ability, you can look at the top 4 cards of your deck and you can reveal an item card and put it into your hand. If it's an item that's 3 or less, you can play it for free and exert it, and everything else goes to the bottom of the deck. So essentially it's an Oswald, but you're getting 4 cards to look through instead of your top deck from inking. And if it's 3 or less, which everything in here except the dime is 3 or less, you can play it for free. So getting that workshop is going to be critical. Getting that Fishbone for additional ink. I think those are the 2 biggest hits you can get, unless you're strapped for cards for some reason. Popsicles, Fortispheres get you a draw, and then you're going to be right there to play Hiram on turn 4 anyway, the same turn that you're exerting her, most likely to get that draw power. So even if you do hit the Popsicle for your free draw and play it for free, now you play Hiram, you get 2 more cards, you're replenishing your hand, and you're just going at it. By then, maybe you have 4 items on board, and I play the Scrooge for free as well, or just another Bell. Absolutely just dominating deck right now. We saw 3 different versions of it in this video. Every one of them successful in their own way. So congratulations to Dylan. Congratulations to Ron. Everybody in this video. We happy to have you on here. And yeah, so if you guys like this kind of content, let us know below. Let us know what you think about the decks below. I encourage you to check out the podcast. We just did a whole episode on the blue steel meta, just dominating right now for the first time in a very, very long time. As you saw, we had 3 different versions of it here, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. So I think the next several weeks are going to be a lot of people trying to discover how to get around it, and I think it's to go fast. You just have to go fast. And what's going to be hard about going fast is against Andy's versions, for example, is that he's going to have the board presence at the beginning with the Calhouns and the Smees and all the stuff that's going to take care of your aggro. And these decks have it as well with Bell, but it's a lot. So we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. I'm happy to do these videos. It's been a lot of fun. This is the second week doing it. If you like it, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm going to get out of here, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.